the Director of Student Activities, and I want to welcome you all to our sophomore transfer second year student session. We have a variety of speakers to speak on a few topics today. So first off, we're going to start with Dr. Miles, our Vice President of Student Affairs and Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. So Dr. Miles, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm only going to speak to you briefly and just let you know how excited we are to have you here on campus and remind you that in order for us to keep you here on campus, that we absolutely need everyone to adhere to our mask wearing policy as well as our social distancing policy. As much as you possibly can, make sure that when you're hanging out with your friends, you can be together, but just, responsibly. And then also in terms of the mask, we recognize that it's not the most comfortable thing. It can be annoying. It's hot outside. Like, we recognize all those things, but we are requiring that all students wear their mask anytime they are on campus property, whether they're inside or outside. And so if you have a drink and you're walking across campus, there's no cheat code, right? So you can't say, oh, well, I'm drinking, so I'm going to take my mask off. If you're walking and drinking, then you can lift your mask to take a sip and then put your mask back on when you're not drinking. The only time students are allowed to not wear their mask on campus is if you are sitting stationary and eating. So if you're outside at one of the patio tables and enjoying your lunch, that's completely fine. But we want to make sure that we are being as reasonable with our policies as possible. And we already had an infectious disease policy in the student code of conduct, but we've updated it to reflect the COVID-19 policies. And so if we have to continue to remind you over and over again, then there is a possibility that there might be some referral to the Dean of Students. So we're really trying to approach this in a more compassionate way and just give friendly reminders. But if you are flagrant or a quote unquote repeat offender, then we will have to increase our engagement. So that's the main thing that I wanted to share with you. We don't want to end up as one of the schools that you've seen on the news where you have your grand opening and grand closing 2 weeks later. And the only way we can make sure that doesn't happen is if we all do our part, faculty, staff, and students included. So if you have any concerns about faculty and staff not wearing masks, feel free to let our office know and we'll connect with the appropriate people. And also, if there's ever a point, this actually happened today, I had a student, I approached him and said, hey, just a friendly reminder, you're supposed to wear your mask when you're on campus. And he realized that he had forgotten and didn't have one at all. And so I directed him to the Office of Student Affairs to get a mask. So if you are somehow on campus and just completely forgot, there are places on campus where you can get a mask at least for that day, or in some places a reusable mask. So hope you have a great rest of your session. I'm going to pop off now, but thank you so much for being here, for being so engaged and participating in this first ever sophomore transfer workshop.
Thank you, Dr. Miles.
Bye.
Bye. So I just want to start us off by, talking a little bit more about clubs and organizations. You may have found something to get involved with in your first year. If you're a transfer student and joining us for the first time, you are possibly looking for something to get involved in. So as the Director of Student Activities, I oversee our clubs and organizations. So we have a variety of clubs to pretty much cover any interests that that our students have, and if we don't, it is you are more than welcome to create one of your own, and we can help you do that. But to talk a little bit more on that, I'm going to hand it over to Kate Caulfield, our SGA president.
Hi, everybody. Like Christy said, I'm Kate. I'm your student government president. One thing I want to remind everyone is that it's never too late to get involved. So as a sophomore who didn't find anything their first year, or maybe you found something you didn't like anymore, it's okay to go out to the club showcase and find something new, even if you have to go at it alone and you don't have any friends going with you. And the same goes for transfers. You're in a new area, it can be scary, a new school. The best way to find friends and to get involved is by trying new things. One thing Chrissy touched on was how to start a club. So you would go to student government for that. You would present what your club wants to do, how it would do it. We would vote on it, and it's a very easy process. So if you go to Club Showcase and you see nothing that you like, find something that you're passionate about, you could start that club. Then you can also meet people who have the same passions as you do. Now a little bit about SGA as a whole. It's where students can come and voice their concerns, questions about policies, campus, and we'll take what you've said and we'll bring it back to the faculty and staff members, and we'll try our best to fix that. Our General Assembly meetings will be every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., not a.m. And if you miss a meeting or you think of something, you can always email us too at sga@flagler.edu. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. Yeah, SGA has done, a multitude of things in the past years. They are always enacting change on this campus, and they've gotten crosswalks put in. They've gotten, given feedback to the dining hall for the students, made changes happen all throughout campus. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to check out them and their website and email them for more information. To talk a little bit about our community service opportunities, I'm going to hand it over to Jordan, who is our Flagler College Volunteers President, so she can talk more about that.
Hey everybody, as Chrissy said, I'm Jordan. I'm president of FCV, so we handle all community service on campus. So if you want to get involved with your local community, we're the organization to join. So you can get the most up-to-date information on what we do on our Saints Connect portal or on our Instagram at FC Volunteers. Our first event will be the beach cleanup. That'll be this Sunday. We're going to meet at the St. Augustine Beach Pier at 9 a.m. and just get to know your fellow classmates from a safe, socially distanced environment and help keep our beaches beautiful. We are planning to do events a little differently this year, obviously because of the pandemic we're in. So we're going to do some events socially distanced in person, but we're also going to have a bunch of opportunities virtually just to give everyone access to these events. And then we work with a ton of nonprofits. If you're interested in a certain nonprofit that you don't see us working with, please feel free to reach out, and we'd love to connect with them because we'd love to grow and expand our organization to include all nonprofits. Hope to see you at FCV events. Thanks.
Thanks, Jordan. FCV is such a great organization to get involved in if you really enjoy community service. If that's something that you were super into at a previous institution or in high school or something like that, they do a lot of great work. They connect with a lot of great places within our community. And it's also just a great way to get to know St. Augustine as a whole, like just the town in general. So yes, be sure to check out what they have to offer. And sorry. So yeah, check out what they have. And now I'll hand it over to Tara Stevenson, who's our Dean of Student Engagement and Career Development, to just chat a little bit about the resources and opportunities that Career Development Center has to offer, and a little bit more about student engagement. So.
Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for taking some time, maybe during your lunch hour or just this afternoon when the weather's looking really nice, to join us. My name is Tara Stevenson. I serve as the Dean of Student Engagement and Career Development. I love what I do here at Flagler because I get to be involved with students in lots of different ways, helping them kind of identify their passion areas or interest areas, and then whether that could include a club or organization or perhaps any other projects that are on campus, and then making that into a potential career or what your plans are for after Flagler. But colleges always do so much for our first year students as they come in, and then we always have our third and fourth year students who kind of seem to know a little bit more about where they're going. So our second year students and our transfer students will sometimes feel a little bit lost. And that's why I am grateful we're doing this session today to really provide some information on how we can support you, because your first year at any institution is intended to be that exploring year where you're just trying to figure everything out and learn what everything new is going to be. But then the second year is when you get to transition more into that preparing. I tell people all the time, I love when students come into the office and they say, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, or I kind of want to do this, but I don't know how to get there. And we have those discussions on, is this something that's of interest to you for a career, or is this something that's of interest to you because it's a hobby? And those can be two very different things. And I do like during the second year, or as you know, transferring to Flagler and this is your first time, to have those discussions on, you know, identifying where the balance is or where you kind of see yourself eventually. We'll work a lot with students on exploring ways to fine-tune some of those interests and passion areas. That's why I love suggesting many of our clubs and organizations, because that can really solidify whether something is an enjoyment for a hobby or a personal preference, or if something is an enjoyment or a hobby that could be a career later on. There's many people that I've spoken to that have been involved with, for example, our Flagler College Volunteers, and services held dear to their hearts, but they're an accounting major, or they are a science major, or an education major because they want to do that, but it's still something that's close to them. And I also love having the discussions on how you could maybe intertwine both of those. In any other year, when we are not in the middle of a pandemic like this, our office does love to bring a lot of guest speakers on campus to engage with students and have more of those laid back conversations where you get to find out how they got to where they are. What is interesting about a person's industry or their own career path and how they got there. We're hoping to still bring them. It just might be a little bit different, of course, as we keep saying. So a lot of our speakers will be virtual, but taking that time to connect with them and find which industry or which professional outlet would be for you is great to kind of focus on during that second year here, because then you can fine tune it and really start practicing and doing a whole lot more during your third and fourth year. This is also the chance when you are meeting with your faculty and your classmates and a topic of discussion in class really sparks some interest for you. Take the next step to talk more with your faculty members or maybe some classmates on why did that leave a lasting impression for you? Is it because you just really enjoyed talking about it? Or is it because you would love to do something more within that? And then lastly, now is a great time as a second year student to begin building your professional wardrobe. Something I am now trying to tell our campus community is, unfortunately, our career closet is closed right now. But if you are looking for any recommendations or discussion points on how to feel comfortable when you are dressing professionally, because you're going to begin to have more presentations in classes, more of those meetings where you could be connecting with a mentor or somebody that's in a different profession, and you want to set that great first impression. Our office is available this semester for in-person appointments as long as we are 6 feet at minimum apart, but we are also available for virtual and phone appointments. All you have to do is simply email us at careerdevelopment@flagler.edu, and we'd be more than happy to set something up. But welcome if you are new, welcome back if you are coming back to us, and I can't wait to see y'all around campus soon.
Thanks so much, Tara. So something I just want to touch on, as was mentioned previously, Saints Connect is our new platform for our organization and event management system. So when we are putting on events, they will be within the calendar there. And we are opening registration for all of our events on the Saints Connect platform. And we will be requiring that people register for events if they wish to attend our in-person events, because they are so limited on space. And I just want you to be aware that if you are choosing to reserve a spot to attend one of our in-person events, just be mindful that if you do intend to go, that's great. But if you're not sure or you think you might not go, please leave that space for someone who really does want to attend. And so we appreciate just that little bit of consideration when you're deciding on what events you want to attend in person. We'll have lots of virtual events as well, which you can register for on Saints Connect as well. So just wanted to give that little piece of information, and we're super excited for the coming semester. We're super excited to have everyone back on campus and the new students on campus for the first time. We love to just interact and keep students engaged. So that is really what we are here for. And if you have any questions or you find that you need anything related to student activities or even just in general, we can try and connect you to the proper resources. Feel free to email us at studentactivities@flagler.edu. And I think that will finish up this session for us today. I know it went fairly quickly, but now if you haven't eaten lunch, you can grab something. And we appreciate you attending today, and go Saints. Thank you.